What's up, everybody? This is In the Pocket, where we talk about the people and things around sports that you want to talk about. I'm Big Bob. That's Maestro. Maestro, how are you doing tonight?
Outstanding. It's a new year. It's a new day, and I'm feeling good. Da-dum, da-dum.
Now that
Hey.
we've
Okay.
lost
Yeah. Yeah.
99.9% of our viewers,
We are not a music podcast. So imagine
we
that.
we are not. But you got some good stuff going on. You can do some good stuff with some music. So you don't discredit yourself at all.
I won't. I just won't do it. You know what I'm
well, Maestro, before we jump into the people's questions, do you have anything that you want to get off your chest from sports this week?
So I tell you, and I'm not gonna do what I did last week. I promise, I pinky promise. How many domed teams are still in the playoffs in NFL? NFL.
How many dome teams are left in the playoffs? Let me think. Patriots are outside. Bills are outside. Panthers outside. Trying to think of all the Houston, I think, is outside. I am going
They're
to go with
Houston's indoors. Houston's indoors.
Houston is indoors.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna say. I'm gonna say. Hold on. I'm trying. Two.
Right. So really, I guess 1.5 because Seattle's kind of indoor outdoor, right?
It says
Or
that's.
I'm not.
I.
I'm
I
sorry.
was.
No,
Are they?
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Not Seattle. LA is indoor outdoor,
Uh.
right?
Yeah. I mean, that's. I mean, at some point where everybody's going to be in a dome, where if we're being completely
Yeah.
honest, and
You know
I
what?
hate
I
that.
think so
I
too.
love the weather. I love the weather aspect of things, but yeah. So only 1.5. We'll take the 1.5.
Yeah. 1.5. Because I posit that for a reason. So the idea is you see like what happened, and I'm going to tie this into the first question because really great questions this week by our people, our fams, as it were. um, but I'm going to actually tie it into the Kai Killens question, CIA. I'm going to get him in early here.
All right.
So, because he asked about Baltimore Ravens being out of playoffs on a stunner by Pittsburgh Steelers and hypotheticals about if Lamar Jackson would be switching to another team. So the reason I said the indoor outdoor thing is kind of leading up into this because I figured I'd kill two birds with one stone so that way I'm not breaking my promise. You look at this time of year, what the weather's doing, and what quarterbacks have had success in the inclement weather that follows the NFL as we start getting into December, January, February. And you look at how the Ravens lost that game, right? They lost it on missed kicks, right? They had one of the most successful kickers in NFL history. He went the way of the dodo, as you know. Eventually, you run out of kicks, I guess. And then they had a few people in between, and they get this one. They purposely went and got this young kid out of college, which is a great kicker. But you know something? It's kind of like when you see, in golf, U.S. Open courses are really difficult.
Well,
And
first of all, I do want to say I love how you went the way of him just going extinct versus the fact that he has been
yeah,
eliminated from the NFL from his own misguided endeavors. But
yeah, look, I was trying to keep it clean, my man. You know what I'm saying? I was making every effort. It's a family show, okay? So a lot of us jamokes sit at home and we'll see these cats in the U.S. Open where the greens are crazy fast and putting on glass and you see a guy with a 3-foot putt and he misses it. And you go, how could he miss it? And it's like, first of all, the pressure playing in a U.S. Open or any major golf event, and then you play on one of toughest setups in the universe that year, you're gonna miss. Even the top cats the best putters will miss those putts. Between the pressure and everything all included. And the same thing goes with those kickers, man. People act like kickers just walk out there now. And even though we sort of have this universe where if we can get the kicker within 60 yards, it's supposed to be automatic, and that's not how it works.
Shoot, 70 yards now.
Yeah, thank you, 70 yards now, right? So you look at and Kyle, what's so great about the question is there's a lot of people who think that Harbaugh, unless they won the Super Bowl, Harbaugh was going to be out this year anyway. So there's a lot of people who have that train of thought, which again, to me makes no sense. Some people are saying that his
Yeah.
message got, some people saying that his message got old in the locker room. All those sort of tired, stale things are going around. The reality of it is this: Baltimore's situation is difficult because of the intensity of the success they've had without only having the ultimate success one time. Just like with Mike Tomlin in Pittsburgh, a lot of success, but only one trophy under his name, right?
Yeah.
So you have a team. Just look at it this way, Kai. Two franchises' future was decided by a missed kick. Whether it was this week or the weeks to follow, two franchises' future was decided off of a kick. Is that fair? No. A lot of things led up to that. A lot of things that we don't even know about it being on the outside.
Yeah.
So the reality of it is, what I was getting at when I asked the question about how many dome teams are left is because one would think, yes, so the regular season is fine. You're playing half your games indoors. It's a more controlled environment, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. But then when you start getting to where it starts count, look at all teams that have had success over the last years. They're all outdoor teams. Buffalo, probably the most inhospitable of all football environments, I think. Kansas City is not exactly heavenly out there either. But that stuff adds to the body.
You keep going back. New England.
Yeah,
Brady
New England.
won. Brady won 6 outside. Won the 7th. Won 6 outside with New England. Well, sorry. The way I'm saying is he was with New England, who is an outdoors team. Went to the Bucks outdoors team. So he won 7 out. So that's 7 in the last 15 years just from one guy.
Right. So taking it to this next step, right, Kai? The idea is Baltimore. Of all the teams that I would say have a plan, Baltimore has a plan. So getting rid of Harbaugh, who really is known as a special teams coach, and if we have time left, I have a great special teams coaching story about him from firsthand experience. That was from a trial that went horribly wrong.
Back in the 90s?
Went horribly wrong. But if anybody has a plan going for Kai, it's going to be the Ravens. Very well-run organization, very together, ownership, middle management, upper management, field management. They're always on the same page. The Lamar Jackson thing, though, is a wild card because he does not have an agent. He does all of his negotiations himself. And that's very hard because of while you're playing, you need to have that other person who is, when you have a good game, texting that general manager, filling out with other agents and other scouts saying, hey, you saw what my man did? You saw what's going on? See where his ranks is, whatever. You can't do that when you're playing on the field, especially with the amount of homework that needs to be done. Now, if anybody has shown, if it was just about talent, it wouldn't be a thing, but it's just not about the professional leagues are not about just talent anymore. And the idea for Lamar Jackson, he is finally playing like the quarterback that people thought he could be when he first came into the league. This year he ran less.
Well, did people think he was going to be? People didn't think he was going to make it as a quarterback. Let's be fair.
Okay, yes, true. That's true. But okay. So I'm going to tell you what it was like as a Jets fan, as a Falcons follower, and watching him play in college. Okay, so that's my lens of my circle of people who looked at him and talked about him. Right. So look at YouTube his last season with Baylor.
Louisville.
Oh, God, I'm thinking about somebody else. Thank you, Louisville. Think about his last season and how unsuccessful that team was and how highly regarded he was, where there was a thought of whatever team got him was going to get somebody who can play in a very negative situation and still make something happen for your team. He had a reputation as a running quarterback, but he had a really good arm. everybody talked about he studied. There was never a question about him studying. There was never a question about him doing homework. It's nothing like that. So for me, as a Jets fan, as a Falcon follower, as a University of Georgia cat, I saw the side of him and heard the stories of the side of him about the success that he was going to have at the next level. The problem at the next level is it's as much business as it is stuff on the field. Being his own agent is a hindrance because he's not going to be talked to in a serious way. It's hard for him to make those arguments that agents can make when they compare stats of other players, because technically it's supposed to be a modicum of separation of personal feelings about that. Because even the best players, when they go into contract negotiations, the team will drag out the negative stuff. Well, yeah, he only wears a size 12 and a half shoe. If he wore a 13, it's like, so that kind of dumb stuff happens. So if any team can survive this, the loss of a John Harbaugh and the questionable return of a Lamar Jackson, which I can't imagine them not wanting him back.
I don't think it has anything to do with not wanting him back. I'm gonna jump in here because I disagree with your thought of the Ravens having a plan. Because
okay.
I don't think they have a plan. I think their plan was, you mentioned it, somebody thought it was getting stale and they just needed to move on. This is exactly what happened with Penn State this season.
Ooh, good.
James Franklin's, whatever was going on with James Franklin in the locker room, it got stale and they just wanted to move on. Yes, he lost 3 in a row. 2 of them should not have lost at all before he got fired. But every single year for the last 4-5 years, you're hearing, oh, is he going to stay? Is he going to stay? Is he going to go somewhere else? He was flirting with other teams, supposedly, or he was just trying to get more money. Regardless, Penn State thought they had a plan. So Baltimore might think they have a plan. Penn State thought they had a plan. Matt Campbell was not in their top 10 list of coaches that they wanted.
No.
He just happened to be the one that was still left when all the dust settled, and fingers crossed that he does well. I don't know who's out there for Baltimore to bring in and continue success without Harbaugh. I don't know if there's anybody out there that they're going to be able to bring in to replace what Harbaugh brought, plus a Lamar Jackson if Lamar Jackson were to get traded. We have to remember was it 2 years ago that Lamar Jackson made it very public that he did not want to play for the Ravens anymore, and then they went and gave him the long-term contract. I think that they could look at this as, we just need a fresh start. Thanks for what you did for us for all those years. You didn't bring us a championship, but you're still the greatest quarterback in the history of our organization. Good luck. Hope we can get a ton of draft picks for you. Now, one thing I'll say, Baltimore's not going to mess up a Lamar Jackson trade like the Cowboys messed up a Michael Parsons trade. I'll tell you that much.
No, they're not. No, they're not. No, you're right. Oh my goodness.
And I want to be fair. I don't know. It would probably take too much to give up to him, but I would take Lamar Jackson on the Vikings. I'm just saying, I would take him. Let JJ McCarthy learn a little bit behind him.
I take him on the Jets.
Yeah,
I'll take him on the Jets. Yeah. And you know what? And something, please put a pin in your thought, because Kai did say a hypothetical. He did say hypothetical of him going to the other teams. Yeah. So I'm full disclosure to make sure we get that right. But yeah, I take Lamar Jackson on the Jets right now. Now in a wheelchair.
I think there's a chance that they move on from him just to get a fresh start, and I just don't know who. I could see them going to the bottom of the AFC North for a couple seasons because I don't know who they bring in to replace him.
Do you really think the fan base would take that?
The fan base isn't going to have an option. They're not going to take it. They're not going to take it. They'll burn down. They will burn down that city. They will burn down that city.
Yeah.
They will. Yep.
No. I'm sorry. I apologize. I stepped all over there because it was just so powerful what you just said. They'll bring in somebody, go to the bottom for 2 seasons, and that person is going to be out.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I mean, whoever they bring in, if that's what's going to happen, whoever they bring in if they can't at least come close to maintaining, they're going to be out in 2 years by the time they get the organization restabilized to start going good again, no matter who's there. I don't know now. How many years do you think Lamar Jackson has of Lamar Jackson years left in his game? I mean, let's be
Uh,
honest. He's not going to be a 19, 21 year guy
no,
like
no.
I can't, the guy with the Steelers now that was with the Jets who I can't stand. Yeah, him.
Aaron
I'm not going to
Rodgers.
say his name. Yeah, I'm not saying his name.
um,
Anyway, uh,
I think I the thing is with Lamar Jackson, he doesn't really take the hits that some of these other quarterbacks
not
take.
anymore. Not anymore. He used to, but not
He's
anymore. You're
smart.
right. You're
He is
right.
smart about it. So I was gonna say maybe 3, but I think you might be able to get 5 more out of Lamar Jackson, like really, really like MVP seasons. Um,
Yes.
but I just
Because
is yeah,
anything less, I'm sorry. Once you set a standard,
yeah.
and oh, by the way, the standard he set, he is the standard. Let's be real about it. Imagine. Okay, okay. I'm stepping all over you, Big Bob. I'm so
No,
sorry. Lamar Jackson, Josh Allen, at a time when we talk about there's a whole long line of ineffectual mobile quarterbacks, right? If you were a mobile quarterback, you weren't never taken serious as a quarterback. And now
yep,
that everybody wants one. Now everybody wants one. And I'm telling you, I believe it's because of those two guys. I did not say Patrick Mahomes for a reason. Okay. I purposely left him out of these two cats because talent for talent, arm talent, being able to throw, being able to move, being able to make something happen within the play and extend the play and have the understanding around him. Those two guys play on a level that is kind of like how we talked about with Major League Baseball a few episodes ago. There's AAA players and there's quad A players, guys who are too good for AAA but not good enough for the major leagues.
yep.
Then there's those Ronald Acuñas who need another league above the major league to actually get a challenge. But unfortunately, like it's like him, Otani, and maybe 3 other cats, and everybody else is human, right? So
Yeah,
that's how I see that. That's how I see Lamar Jackson. That's how I see Josh Allen. And as a Jets fan, it's taking a lot for me to say this, but it's the truth of guys who are true difference makers on every level with every tool as a quarterback.
yeah,
Now I'm going to put Patrick Mahomes. I'm going to put Patrick Mahomes in this particular thing. If there was any of those, if there was any quarterback that even though Patrick might not have the pure physical ability, but the mental acuity to know when and what he can do when he can do it, he's the guy. He's kind of like Greg. To me, Mahomes is like Greg Maddux. Greg Maddux couldn't throw faster than 93, right? But he could put that baseball through a needle eye because he could hit his spots, right? He could make the ball move away, and he could control the game. And he could let you hit the ball and determine where you're going to hit it to. Like, there was a great story about Greg Maddux. They wanted to pull Greg Maddux out of a game, and he was like, no, I'm not coming out. It's like, okay. He's like, okay, Greg Maddux. He's a Greg Maddux, It's like, I'm not coming out. So he said, well, so the pitching coach is like, well, what you going to do? He says, well, what I'm going to do is I'm giving him 2 on the outside, give him 1 over here, blah, 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 whatever. And then on the third pitch, I'm going to throw this, and he's going to pop up the Chipper Jones, blah blah blah. Then we'll be out of the inning. Then we can make up our mind what we're going to do for the next inning, and goes out and just does just that thing, right? So very few cats could do that, right? Has such control game. Oh, by the way, people don't know Greg Maddux is also the reason cats cover their mouth now whenever they talk on the field. Going back to when Greg Maddux, I know Squirrel. I'm gonna come back.
yeah. Like, we ain't talking about anything baseball. What are we doing here?
So it was a game against the Giants. Greg Maddux was pitching to Greg Maddux and Barry Bonds always had great heads-up matches. And Greg Maddux said what he was going to do to the catcher. By the way, Greg Maddux also called his own pitches before the pitch calm. The way he caught the ball was how he's going to pitch the next pitch. So that's how he called his own game. So anyway, Barry Bonds read his lips, and Will Clark. I'm sorry, not Will Clark. No, yeah, it was Barry Bonds read his lips and said, "Okay, I know what you're going to do. Tattooed the next pitch, right into McCovey Cove." Greg Maddux goes back and he realized, oh man, they could see what I was saying. He started covering his mouth. Now it's just standard practice. Anyway, little Maestro, you don't need to know that knowledge. So anyway, back to what we're talking about. That's how I picture Patrick Mahomes. He's like a Greg Maddux. He's not going to outmuscle you. He's not going to ever outrun you, ever. But he knows how to move when he needs to move to get done what he needs to get done. That's what makes him so great. Whereas you take a Josh Allen, who can quarterback sneak by himself. Basically, he could hike the ball to himself, and he's strong enough he could push it through. Or a Lamar Jackson, who's physically gifted enough to where every time you think you got him, he's like trying to tackle smoke. And he's so quick and he's so twitchy with his moves. And yet and still, when he gets planted and he releases the ball, that's a great spiral, a great throw to a spot. Lamar Jackson is the standard. And to me, I don't even know if he would want to play if he couldn't play at least at a level where he was not one of the top 5 quarterbacks in the league. I don't think he'd want to play. And by the way, I'm kind of hard pressed to say how many good quarterbacks are in the league. You know how I feel about that. You know, one day I'm going to do my own little map. But of the 32 teams in terms of real quarterbacks in the league right now, it ain't 32. I'm just going to say that right now.
Just you're put a pin. Put a pin in that because it was something I wanted to bring up a little bit later. But I'm going to jump back to one of Kai. Great question, Kai. One of his other questions before we go too far off topic was bringing up Kevin Stefanski being terminated by the Cleveland Browns, and Cleveland Browns head coach fired, and the next step for Shedeur Sanders as a possible lock for starting quarterback. First, I want to talk about the termination of Kevin Stefanski. I believe that I can't remember every single coach that's been terminated that has been fired so far in the last 4 or 5 days. I believe that 99% of them should not have been fired. I don't believe Harbaugh should have been fired. I don't believe McDaniel should have been fired. I don't believe Stefanski should have been fired. I don't believe Pete Carroll should have been fired. You can't, and I'm going to jump to the Pete Carroll thing. You can't bring somebody in for 1 year. And me and Tim Bellardi, buddy Tim Bellardi, talked about it a little bit. You can't bring somebody in for 1 year and then they didn't have the year you expected and you get rid of them. You just can't. No matter how good somebody is, you got to give them a little bit of time. And you look at what that team has gone through. Pete Carroll didn't build that entire team. And that offensive line was horrendous. Geno Smith did not play very well. Now, Geno Smith played the way that people expect Geno Smith to play because they didn't believe in him after his Seattle years. But look at that's what happens when you put him behind such a terrible offensive line. And you go back to, and you look at rookie Gentry as a running back. People are, oh, he's a bust. He's not a bust. Go look at some of those plays where the one play that gets highlighted the most, I believe there was 5 linemen and a tight end and 5 linemen and a tight end and a tackle and 2 ends, and nobody gets blocked. Nobody gets blocked. They're in you can't have a 6-on-3 where your running back's getting hit by 2 people as soon as he gets the ball. That's not his fault. I don't believe that Pete Carroll. I don't believe Pete Carroll, Stefanski, McDaniel, or anybody should have been fired. I think McDaniel should have been given an opportunity to see what he can do full time with Quinn Ewers. Obviously, Quinn Ewers, we were hyping Quinn Ewers up whenever he was at Texas and when he came out. I believe that Quinn Ewers should have stayed in for another year. However, he left. He recently said that he left because he wanted to keep the relationship that he had with his Texas teammates versus going to another team transferring. He left for Arch Manning. Arch Manning was next up, and he didn't want to hinder that, and he didn't want to risk losing his job to him because Texas might have been looking at oh, we have to start Arch Manning now because the hype is so high. Regardless, all these guys, they got terminated too early. Stefanski got terminated because of his handling with Shedeur, but at the same time, don't go behind him and draft another quarterback after he already drafted his quarterback. He already drafted his guy, Gabriel. He already
Yeah.
drafted him. So now you're bringing
Yeah.
in another guy that he didn't want. Yeah, is he going to not want to play that guy? Absolutely. Do I think that he held Sanders out longer than what the ownership wanted him to? Yes, but I don't think he was trying to sabotage Sanders' career. He was
Right.
trying to make sure that he kept his job, and he wanted to see what his guy could do. Now, again, injuries and all. I mean, they went through how many quarterbacks again this
Oh.
season,
Woo.
but you have to look back that they handicapped him with that Deshaun Watson contract. There's not a whole lot
Oh.
that you can do with that
Oh.
contract. And
Oh.
we're blaming the coach. The
Yes.
coach is always going to the coach should take the brunt
Always.
of the blame. They always
Always.
should. But we can't act like there aren't significant factors around him or around these coaches and these players that are hindering their ability to put the best product out there on the field. And when you give
You
a
know.
guy when's the last time Deshaun Watson's even played? It's been obviously this entire season. I can't remember how
Right.
much he played last season. They're expecting him
Did
to
he?
come back next season. So you're going to have now, not only do you have Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders battling it out, now you got Watson coming back. And if Watson plays to the level that he can, which is MVP type level, then now you're in an even tougher situation. Now you're not going
Yeah.
to trade Watson. Nobody wants Watson with his baggage.
No.
Um,
No.
but yeah, I mean, it's just these coaches that got terminated. I think McDaniel is probably along the same lines as Harbaugh. Maybe they
Okay.
just thought he was getting a little stale down there in Miami. But we already
Well,
see that
apparently they wanted to
Miami.
get rid of apparently with McDaniels, they wanted to get rid of him a couple of years ago,
Yeah,
and then
well,
they had a splash. You
Miami
know,
Miami doesn't know how to. They're one of those. They're one of the. I was going to call them a
bad.
program.
Yeah. No.
They're one of the. They're one
Say
of
the word.
those.
Say the words.
They're one of those
Say the words.
organizations that they're never going to consistently be good because they don't hold on to people. They
No.
got rid of Campbell. They got rid of Flores. Now, obviously, we hear
Mm-hmm.
all kinds of stories about these guys after they leave Flores. But some guys are better coordinators than they are head coaches. We know that. That's
Very true.
factual.
Yeah. Very true.
And
Very true.
Flores is an amazing defensive coordinator. Hopefully, he doesn't leave the Vikings, but he's probably going to. But we have these guys again, like they're building something. You have to let them build. You have to let
Right.
them go through those growing pains. It's just like
But
college. You have to
we
let them
talked
get
about
their
this,
team
baby.
in. I know we talk about it. I feel like we
Baby, we
talk about
talked
it every
about
single
this.
week. You got to let them bring their guys in and build their
We don't,
team the way
baby,
that
we
they
don't live
want
there no
to.
more. We don't live there no more. It looks, not only look, it's no longer what have you done for me lately. It's what are you doing for me now?
Yeah.
That's what we live.
Stefanski just won Coach of the Year 2 years ago.
And there you go. And there you go. Listen, oh, by the way, two things you said that really struck something with me. I'm just going to be honest with you. How much of Oakland's situation do you think it might have been Tom Brady saying, I got somebody I want to bring in, since he's one of the minority owners and apparently has his hand in organizing the team for real.
I mean, is he gonna? Who is there? John Harbaugh. But this happened. John Harbaugh wasn't terminated until after Carroll. But
Right.
it's one of those situations where you termed Carroll. Who do you have? Who do you have in your back pocket? Unless you're coming down from the box, what are we doing?
Can I show some jet hatred haterade right now? Tom, Mr. Brady, I would not put it past him to have some backdoor shady cigar smoke room conversation with something and say, listen, blah blah blah, whatever, this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna get you in as my coach. Even if somebody under contract with somebody else.
Lane Kiffin confirmed to the Oakland Raiders.
Oh God. You know what? If Tom does that, all of my respect for him is gone. All of my respect for him. That is one guy that, listen, your team is in the college playoffs right now doing better without you than they were with you. Which, oh, by the way, you showed us what you were for the last 12 years. Dude, I'm sorry. Anyway, I'm not getting sidetracked. I apologize. I apologize. So I no, I was just curious about that with like Pete Carroll, and how much of that might have been Brady versus whatever. And then the other thing, like you brought up with Shedeur, right? So anybody with half a noggin will know that no coach wants to put trash out on the field because that makes them look bad. And like Brian Flores said, he told ownership of Miami, "Why do I want to lose for you to fire me to hire somebody else to reap the benefits of me losing these games?
Yep.
I'm prideful. I want to do what I want to do." So that being said, you always want your best player out there. Do politics play a hand in how some of
Yeah.
these coaches sort of see players?
Yep.
Absolutely, it does 100%. And that's what I meant when I said in the post that you put up, talking about how I said I could barely think of enough head coaches, position coaches, coordinators that you can get six full real coaching staffs. And the reply that was written, I forgot who wrote that really good reply, but look, he listed head coaches that I think there's more than six. I kind of agree with him a little bit, and I think I hope I said that because it was really well done. But if it's more than six, it's barely more than six. Because I think of a coach can win you 3 games that you wouldn't have won otherwise without them being there, being able to put the team in a position to be successful. Or a coach can lose you at least 3 games. See the Atlanta Falcons. See what happened with Raheem Morris, with bad coaching decisions over these last few years that cost this team games. Not managing timeouts right. Just not managing timeouts alone cost 4 games over the last 2 seasons.
Yep.
Just timeouts alone. Forget anything else. Forget forget the delay in getting plays in, not being coordinated with certain just this basic coaching fundamentals 101. Timeouts cost his team 4 games alone. Yes, I know Koo had the leg thing or the hip thing with the kicking when he was the kicker there, but the reality of it is this: if you're my coach, I need to know that you are driving the ship. And if everything is 2 seconds is a long time. If you're 2 seconds behind in the NFL, you're not even in. And that's what kept happening with the Falcons under Raheem. They'd have these great games, but then they'd have these games where when now the coaching matchup, the chess game between coaches. Should I call a timeout here? Should I wait and do this there? And by the way, in every single game, people were picking the other coach over Raheem every time because he just wasn't able to do what he was able to do.
Yeah.
And which is going to bring me back to the Stefanski thing, right? And Shedeur. So Stefanski's out, and then you look at a situation when how much of Shedeur's game is truly NFL ready. And I'm going to say something. I don't think we saw enough to really know. I think we saw enough to see that is he serviceable. I don't even know if we got enough to see if he's serviceable enough in the NFL. Big wins when they happen, yes. But then again, look at how those wins happen. Look at what the defense was doing. Look at what was going on across the table, everything else, right? So is there something there? Probably so. Is he your first true choice as an NFL quarterback? Yes or no right now, Bob? You're on the clock. Shedeur Sanders, yes, no. See, you shaking your head, no. So and that's even before we start into.
But I want to say what you're saying though is so we can look at how many times there's not enough tape for teams
Right.
in the NFL. What they did in college doesn't matter. What they did in high school doesn't matter. There's
Right.
not enough NFL tape on Shedeur Sanders to know if he's going to be a consistent quarterback for the future. You look back
Right.
at certain. I'm going to use the Vikings from a couple seasons ago. Kirk Cousins goes down. We're going through quarterbacks like crazy, but every quarterback
Right.
that comes in has a really good game, or to their standards, a really good game. And then their next game, they disappear or they get hurt, one of the two, because there wasn't enough to see what this guy could do on that particular team. So that alone, that's why when you see a backup come in, sometimes a backup has a really, really, really good game, and then they disappear because there wasn't enough tape on that guy for a team to game plan for them. You're not game planning for the second and third string quarterback throughout the
And there's
week.
monster defensive coordinators out there right now.
Mm-hmm.
To me, the talent in defensive coordinators across the league is the strongest.
Yeah.
And you're right. Once they get a good look at you, They know they know the distance between your steps on the dropbacks when you're going to pass to the right or when you're going to pass to the left. They break you down like that. Okay, this is going to be a pass to the left. Look at where his eyes going, but you know he's going to pass left. Why? Because look at his foot position. All those little silly things that habits that most people don't notice. Those defensive coordinators, like man, like they can just pick that apart.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yep.
then, and I'm gonna say something else too. I think the collective brains of teams now are on the defensive side between the fact that you got cats who are used to playing within the team concept, can still be outstanding individual players, but understand the team concept and know what to do and know how to use you. And if they have like an outstanding next level defensive player, how to put him in a position to be a nightmare for the offensive coordinator or the quarterback, most more specifically. I ain't got to worry about the coordinator, even though I'm playing against the coordinator too. I'm gonna mess with the quarterback. We're gonna do this same setup. We're gonna fake rush. We're gonna fake rush. We're gonna fake rush. We're gonna fake rush. Now we're coming for real. It's just on the defensive side of the ball, with all of the things going against them right now, I think it forced that side of the ball to now have the true brains in the game.
Yeah.
And that's why you see so many talented defensive coordinators, so many talented defensive middle linebackers, cornerbacks who know how to box the player out and know how to get their head around. That's why when you see an average cornerback now, it's like it looks like the dude can't play, but he's on a professional team. Why? Because there's so many cornerbacks. There's so many, even not to have free safeties anymore in the true sense of the word, because now they're all DBs. But you know,
Hybrid players, safeties moving up to play linebacker. You guys,
positionless defense,
yeah.
positionless defense. So you know, it's just to me because of so many rules going for the offensive side of the ball, it's forced the defensive side to sort of raise their brain power up, right? And I think that makes a huge difference in what these young quarterbacks, in some cases some seasoned quarterbacks, are able to do. Because very few quarterbacks can manipulate the defense the way you would see Aaron Rodgers in his heyday. And he has those moments every now and then, or Tom Brady, or even go back and look at the way Josh Allen knows how to move cats around with his eyes and his face. Because you know what? If I see green grass, I'm gonna stretch these legs out and do it, right? I'm 6'5", I can make it happen, right? So but when those cats go up against a good defense, then they're playing on equal playing field. Yeah. Whereas those good defensive going up against your average or even above average pro quarterbacks. Now they're still in the pros, so I'm not saying that they're not bad. They're just for a pro level, they're average or just above average, particularly below average. Those defenses eat those cats alive. See my Jets. Anyway, yeah.
But to answer that Shedeur question though about him potentially being the starting quarterback, I think that whoever the head coach that is coming in, the expectation from ownership is Shedeur Sanders is your starting quarterback. Make it work.
Yeah.
I think that is going to be the expectation coming in. Shedeur is your starting quarterback. I don't want to see anybody else. Make it work.
And if the Browns are willing to handicap themselves that way, I mean, why not? They found other ways to handicap themselves. Might as well enjoy that one.
Yeah, I mean, again, you're telling me, and I'm sorry, I'm going to keep going back to this. Stefanski, for whatever, yes, maybe he didn't do things the way that he wanted to do. I mean, there's a video going around now where he said, he's like, you guys all know that I'm not a liar. And Myles Garrett was behind him, made a face like, yeah, okay, guy. Like, yeah, we know that's not true. We know you are. And then he got caught. But anyways, regardless, you're having a guy who he's been there for, I think, 6 years now. Can I be honest with you? John Harbaugh, I had to look it up because I saw a thing. It was like, Ravens get rid of Harbaugh after 18 years. I'm like, Jesus, has it really been that long?
It's been 18
like,
years.
It's just time flies.
He took that job the year after Tomlin went with the Steelers.
Yeah.
And by the way, even Tomlin getting hired is a story unto itself. I don't want to waste time here because I want to get back to the questions. But the fact that those two cats in that division for that long, Tomlin for 19, Harbaugh, and the matchups that they had.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. If I didn't see any other NFL game that week, if the Ravens and the Steelers were playing, I'm watching that game just for the sheer monstrosity of damage that was going to get done.
Yeah.
And and it was past X's and O's with those two teams. It was, and it's to me, it was the way football was supposed to be. It was supposed to be, we get down, put our knuckles in the dirt, grab the grass, bite your kneecap, go and, screen out your mom, in the hot dog line, run over grandpa when he's trying to get fried pickles. That's what we're doing here, bro. Wrong colors.
Pickles. Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, no, like you just got rid of a guy who was with you for, again, I think it was 6 years. He won 2 Coach of the Years. You have a guy who every 3 years has the Cleveland Browns relevant for a little bit. I'm sorry. I'm going to jump back as a Penn State fan. I'm going to compare it. The Cleveland Browns ownership thinks there's something that they're not, and they're not making the playoffs every year. They're not making the playoffs every single year. But Kevin Stefanski was making them more relevant than they've ever been. And you had to go out there and question every single game. Are they going to win this one? Probably not, but there's a good chance that they might think about it.
Right.
But
right.
I just, this is why, again, and I'm not going to go into it again. I already did it once and would do it every single episode, but this is why teams and organizations are historically bad. They get rid of what they have that is good enough because they want to try and find something that's going to be a little bit better. And that little bit better probably isn't going to come for the Cleveland Browns.
Pittsburgh Steelers, 3 coaches in 50+ years.
Yep.
Jets, 3 coaches in 4 months. Sorry. Too soon? Okay.
But Kai, we appreciate your questions, and sorry that again we started talking about all kinds of other things, fried pickles, baseball, all that other stuff we talked about. Pickles. But I love I love fried pickles. Obviously, I love anything fried. Look at me, but I love me some fried pickles.
Find me a donut, baby.
Last question here from our fans. Jackson Sutton, he just wants us to talk about that Trae Young trade. And from what you told, you got some things to say, so I think I'm just going to I'm going to hand that off to you because I think both are losers in the trade. Personally, both are losers. So moving on, we'll let you talk about it.
Yo, Sutton, man, appreciate you, brother. And I like the way you even asked the question, and I'll tell you that. I'm going to tell you why, because it's a view into how the league works now. And it's a view into the process of Atlanta's best years with Trae Young were way behind. Now I got to give a full disclosure here. Trae Young brought me back to the NBA. I loved watching him in college. I saw a bunch of interviews with him and his pops. I see him outside of the court. I know a few people from that area who knew him off the court. One person even know that he was a player on the college team. Talk about what a good guy, just great, and this person has no interest in sports. But like I was talking about Trae Young, oh yeah, this young guy, oh, I love him. And went on and on. That being said, I was glad he went to the Hawks, because the Hawks, if I had to have an NBA team and had to go back to, I go back to the Hawks days of Dominique Wilkins and Reggie Theus and Moses Malone. I go back then.
And you got to stick with your Georgia team sometimes too.
Yeah. But and by the way, what's something funny? I was living in Mississippi at the time.
Oh, okay.
Which, of course, everybody knows, like, the famous NBA team from the Mississippi.
Oh yeah, the Mississippi Mud Dogs.
Yeah, Mississippi Mud Dogs. Yeah, huh? 7 players and a P-row and casting out for shrimp in the middle of the night. I'm sorry, too soon. I apologize. I got too much bass in my voice when I say that. Sutton, I'm coming back to you, bro. So here's the deal. Atlanta needs to rebuild, and they don't know how to rebuild because there's a lot of issues going on with like the middle management and upper management with the team. That being said, I thought that the Trae Young trade was more of a salary reorganization and that they would get a bunch of guys with expiring contracts, which they didn't do. I think only one of the players has an expiring contract. Now, normally I don't look this stuff up, but because when Bob texted me this question 17 minutes before we started recording, I had to look that one up because I wanted to be sure that I had this right. So I thought that Atlanta was going to get a bunch of expiring contracts. They only got only one of the two players that they got is an expiring contract. And Washington lucks out because they're only in for is a player option coming up after this, which I'm sure he's going to take because I can't, Trae Young is so unliked apparently across the league that nobody really wants him. That being said, his reality has become this. Nobody truly benefits from this trade. Atlanta doesn't benefit because they're still taking on a lot of the salary cap hit and how it works. And one day, Bob and I are going to do a episode on contracts between the leagues, so people can really know more of the difference of what the contracts really mean. But that needs just to be a show by itself.
Yeah.
So the contract swap doesn't really help either team. If anything else, it puts Washington more in debt and more on the line, especially if Trae Young activates his player options.
$48.9 million for that player option.
And by the way, Washington is already pretty close to the danger zone, right? In terms of the luxury tax. That being said, the whole thing about Atlanta is they never were going to go into the luxury tax unless it was a guaranteed thing, and nothing is guaranteed. So the key to this trade is Trae Young might benefit from being in a new environment. But who's the other two cats? McCollum and Kispert, right?
That's who got traded?
From Washington.
Yeah, that's two of their three highest paid players.
Right, exactly. So it was almost as if it was a contract swap, and Atlanta got the advantage of having one of those cats. I forget which one has an expiring contract.
McCollum.
That being said, thank you. So what that means, Atlanta is looking to reorganize their contracts, even if it means contract dumping or salary dumping here, to really build up into the upcoming years. In other words, a perpetual Atlanta rebuild, which is nightmarish to say the least, because they've proven that they can't do that. The best year that Atlanta had in my most recent memory was before Trae Young got there, the year they won 60 games. There were two announcers from Atlanta who said that if Atlanta made it to the NBA Finals, they would do prison time as part of like this as part of and so it's funny as they said it as a joke, but it caught fire nationally. And so Maestro, check me on this, but those two cats, Chuck and Chernoff, I believe, are the two radio guys. And it became a thing of like, here they go, boom, first round of the playoffs, second round of the playoffs, got to the Eastern Finals, game 7. It looked like, hey, these guys might have to go be checking in county here soon. It didn't happen, but that was the best shot, and that's pre-Trae Young. You figured they'd be able to build on that momentum. They were not able to do that. They had a couple of good years with Trae Young, but it never became what it could have been. And some of that from some side words looks is that outside of just the general argument about Trae Young through his first few years went through a couple of coaches that he just basically didn't want to be disciplined by. And then once he really realized his power and what a show that he became, because he's the reason you would go see Atlanta games, he started ticking off the players on the other team by the stuff that he was doing. And oh, by the way, in a league where the players control the league, the last thing you want is upset cats that you work with. Yeah. So, why do you think he wasn't picked for all pro more? Why do there's all these other things that would normally happen? Or when players would say, I want to work with this cat, his name rarely came up. And here he is averaging double, nearly triple doubles every season. And he's getting that kind of production. That being said, hopefully for Trae in a new place, he can reinvigorate his game, reinvigorate his attitude, be around different people. We can see more of the Trae Young you saw when he first came in the league. I think Washington will appreciate that. And in terms of the Hawks, I think the Hawks are still going to be what they're going to be until they figure out how to get at least 2 top-tier players. And by the way, top tier in the NBA versus regular tier in the NBA now, it's so far apart. Now, granted, the worst player in the NBA is still closer to LeBron than we are to that player. That being said, you see a huge difference in how that league works. And what's going to be interesting is, let's be honest about it. How relevant has Washington been in the last 10 years as a
Have
team?
they been have they been relevant since MJ unretired or not unretired?
And
Went
you
there.
and you made my point. And you made my point. And then and
Just kidding. I'm
Atlanta,
just kidding. Gilbert Arenas was a great player. We all
yeah, yeah, yeah,
Gilbert Arenas, Rashad Lewis. We
yeah,
know they had some words messing around.
yeah. But Atlanta was relevant because of Trae. And with this, especially when he had the stuff going on with New York fans going after him and him saying stuff, and they're making fun of him going ball, and then and what it was a good back and forth, but that's all it was. It was just a sideshow. It had nothing to do with the game itself. Because let's face it, the Knicks haven't been relevant since '72, so 1972, by the way. But that being said, what is really interesting about that trade, Sut, I I don't see. If anybody got the better part of the deal, it was Atlanta, because they got at least one expiring contract that they can deal with themselves, that they have control over. And other than that, I just don't see anybody getting a true benefit out of it. And if anybody sees different, please at your boy and let me know what you see different. I just don't.
So I agreed until I pulled up their payroll for the next couple of years, and I think that the Wizards. So whenever I said that neither of them, that both were losers, I was talking about
Mm-hmm.
Trae Young and the Atlanta
Oh
Hawks.
yeah, I
I
got you.
was not talking about the teams, but looking at this, they look. Now I'm not going to pretend like I'm the aficionado of salary cap and stuff. But the Wizards set themselves up to pretty much build whatever they want around Trae Young. You have Chris Middleton expire. He's done after this season. He's on a player option right now. No contract for 2026. CJ McCollum's gone. Kispert's gone. We got one, two, three, four, five, six team options. We have three more players who they're done after this season. They
Okay.
aren't on the books for a whole lot as much as I thought they were going to be on the books for. I think the Wizards have the ability this next season or two to really build something around Trae Young. Now, saying all that, they are the Washington Wizards. They are not going to build anything around Trae Young and have any momentum for the next 2 or 3 years. The Wizards are like the Raiders of the NBA. I mean, it just the Pirates of the MLB. They're not going to build anything. You give them all the resources, they're going to figure out a way to screw it up. So I don't have any faith. It's one of those things.
You know,
It's like Josh Allen. I don't have faith in him until he does it. I hope he
right.
wins a Super Bowl, but I can't trust him to get there.
And oh, by the way, you nailed something. I thank you for calling me out on this. Kispert had the largest team guarantee at 41 million. Now the largest guarantee is with Trae.
Yeah.
So, and they the okay, so the salary cap uh right now is 154,647,000. They're barely over that. And once you get rid of Kispert's and McCullum's contracts and you put in Trae Young's contract, they might either be right. So they actually, you're right. You're right. Right. They did better contract wise. The quick unresearched math in my head was actually wrong. Thank you for calling me out on that. I appreciate that. You're right. Washington does win contract wise with that, but like you said, they got the money to buy the bricks and the mortar now. Are they gonna get the right stuff?
The Yankees have proven to us that you can't always buy a team.
No.
But then you look at I say that, and then you look at the Dodgers, and you go, oh, well, you can buy a team. It just depends. Any
Different leadership with the Dodgers, though.
different
You know what?
leadership any
It's way,
given Sunday
and oh, by the
on
way, I'm gonna
Monday
say
or
this with the
Tuesday or
Yankees.
Wednesday.
Yeah, right, exactly. I'm gonna say this about the Yankees though. And again, not a Yankees fan on any level. You guys are gonna find that out real soon the hard way. Um, the they got so corporate and they got so uninterested that they forgot to be a team. And that's what happened with my Atlanta Braves. At one point, they were so successful, they got so corporate, there was no fun in the team. And then when they started bringing fun back to the Atlanta Braves, they started playing like boys play, and next thing you know, they started winning again. So all that being said, you know, you can be professional, but if you forget that it's a game, you're gonna lose a lot. And
Yeah.
the guys who remain successful for a long time are the people who truly love the game. You hear people say this a lot, and I don't know what our time is like. You hear people say this a lot about, does this person really love the game? And sometimes as fans, we read into that. Are they going to do the homework? Are they going to keep their body in shape? Your body is now your job. You only have an X number of years of window to be this. I shouldn't see you out partying. You can do all that after you're done playing. You can go out partying, driving real fast, all this other stuff. Yeah, but right now while you're playing, you should be treating your body like the way NASCAR treat their cars. It should be all the time ready to go. Stay ready, you don't have to get ready. That being said, though, when you see cats, and I would say this for the Kansas City Chiefs, those guys loved the game. They did the homework, but when you watched them practice as hard as they practice and as smart as they practice, you saw cats who really loved to play ball. And even with this season being what it was for them, one thing you never saw happen with anybody in red and gold or whatever, red and white, whatever their team colors are. You never saw heads down. You never saw helmets thrown. You never saw any of that stuff. They fought through every single game. Even when Patrick Mahomes went out, they still rallied and played hard. They just did not have what it took. Playing, when you're successful for so long, and I'm sorry, that extra game being added on for the regular season plus the playoff games, I'm sorry, you're adding a whole nother season to these guys' life. That's a year off of their football life. And recouping, listen, if you know what I'm about to say, you know what I'm about to say. There are certain mornings when I'm scared of how I'm going to get out of bed because I might have to go in. I might have to go into IR for like sitting up wrong. At a certain point, that's what it is. And I'm not getting beat on every day. So in the NFL, you're getting beat on every play. So when you see guys like, I think we got a guy like James Harrison for the Steelers, look like he was carved out of granite.
Still
You
does.
know,
Still does.
Still does. Right, exactly. You look at a cat like Myles Garrett. You look at Chase Young. You look. There's certain people you look at and you say they know what their tool is for their profession. They take care of it. And the reality for any league is, how do you maintain all the suck you got to maintain to stay at that level and still find joy? And if you can't find joy, you're not going to be any good. And that's how I think that's how with a lot of the Yankees teams, and I think that's how with a lot of the Braves team, my Braves, because I'm sorry, one of my favorite pictures of the Braves was the year they won the World Series, and it was the end of a game where Max Fried was still pitching for the Braves. He gets the last out, and Rosario, one of the players, had a thing where he had these two plastic pirate swords that he would swing around. He's already on the field, knowing that the play is over. I'm surprised the refs didn't say, didn't call it, say, a technical, whatever you can call it in baseball. But he's already out celebrating the win before the play is over. Like he's already out with those two, one pink and one silver plastic pirate swords. And it's just things like that make a difference. And eventually, no matter how much money those cats are getting paid, the ones who really push through, the ones who aren't paying for the paycheck, but they playing because they love the game, are the ones we remember. That's why you remember Shohei Ohtani. That's why you remember even a Freddie Freeman, or even a Derek Jeter. I never once heard anybody talk about Derek Jeter's salary. Why? Because he always played with a love for the game, throwing himself around all the time. There's just certain players that you just know are going to play the game the right way, and they're the guys you want to see
Brady.
play.
Tom Brady was
Yes.
never the highest paid quarterback. I mean,
Never.
I think he was
He
maybe
gave
the
up
last
money.
2 seasons when he was with
He gave up.
with the
He
Bucks. Yep.
gave up money. He
He knew
gave
what
up
it
money on
took
his
to build a
contract.
team.
Yeah.
He
And
knew what
guess
it
what?
took.
He played the long game.
Yep.
When I walk around with 7 Super Bowl rings, and he looks better now than he looked when he played. And oh, by the way, I saw a video. He ran the 40 faster than he ran it in the combine. Like, and what is he now? 49,
Probably
4,811
49.
years old.
Something
Yeah,
like the
40.
4011, 4011, 12. Yeah.
Yeah, 411, 1,200 years old. I mean, come on, let's face it. Does he come out in the daytime? I'm gonna say, I mean, I've never seen him around a mirror.
I think,
So
yeah, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure he would probably burst into flames.
exactly. So anyway, I just want to say that. Apropos of nothing. It's look. These are sports. It's still a game. You're still supposed to have fun.
Yeah. Yeah. No. But yeah, Jackson Sutton, my boy.
Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you,
I
my
hope
dude.
we answered that question for you. Do you I said to stick a pin in something that I'd talk about it later because I didn't want to take up the time then. Do you remember what it was?
Oh my goodness.
I have no idea.
Was I talking about the indoor outdoor teams, kickers?
No, it was
No.
that you no, it was something. It was after that. Oh well, it happens. We'll hear
We'll go
about
back
it.
and study the tape.
I'll study the tape and then we'll talk about it next week or something.
We'll look at the all. We'll look at the all 22.
Yeah, but I did actually. You know what I wanted to do because I forgot. I meant to mention this to you. Oh, just FYI. So the team that people said shouldn't have made it into the college football playoff is currently leading Ole
Miami.
Miss 24-19, with
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes 4 seconds left in the fourth quarter. What I do think we should do real quick, Maestro, is we should make our predictions for the NFL playoffs,
Mm.
and we
I like
can
where your head's at.
let's break it. I'll break it down. Do you want me to break it down? Or do you want to pull it up?
You know what? Break it down. I'm gonna go with you. Go ahead. I
So
got
we
you.
got the
Let's go game by.
AFC.
Let's go game by game.
Yeah, we got the AFC. Broncos got to bye. Steelers Texans. We'll make it cool. We'll
Steelers
do quick.
Texans.
Steelers
Ooh,
Texans.
ooh. I'm sorry. Texans are playing really well right now. I think they're gonna give Steelers trouble.
Yeah, I'm going Texans. Jags Bills.
Oh, Buffalo.
Yeah, but I get love. I'm happy for Trevor Lawrence. I'm very very happy for Trevor Lawrence and what he's been able to do this season. However, I can at least trust that Josh Allen is going to make it to probably the AFC Championship game. Can't
Who
trust him to get to
approved
the
that
Super Bowl.
commercial? Who approved that commercial with Trevor Lawrence and the Heisman dude, two-way player?
Travis Hunter.
Gosh, yeah. Who approved that commercial? Somebody
Uh,
should have said no. No.
Patriots Chargers.
Oh, Chargers. I think
Oh,
and I'm gonna tell you why. If anybody who has the coaching staff that can handle playing mistake-free play, even though it's hard for me to say the Chargers over the Patriots because the Patriots play mistake-free plays. If anybody who can focus their game right now and playing in a way right now where I think that they really, really gonna pull it together, plus they haven't been there, money's on the Chargers.
Patriots. Got to go with the Patriots here. I don't.
Okay.
I do not. I absolutely love Herbert, but I
Yeah.
don't trust. I don't trust them to put a good game plan around him. I just don't.
Good point.
I
That's a good
think that
point.
I think that
That's a good
Herbert
point.
should consistently be considered a top 5 quarterback. I know
I agree
people
with you.
blame. I know people blame him and say that he's not that good of a quarterback because he can't get out of the first round or whatever.
It's not him.
It's not him. It's not him.
Not him.
NFC Seahawks got to bye. Rooting for my boy Sam Darnold. Panthers Rams.
Hey, Sam Darnold was my boy first.
He was your boy
I was
first.
gonna say-
But my guys fixed him, and now he's in Seattle.
You ain't never lied about that one, brother. I'm sorry, you ain't never lied. We broke him. You know what? Your boy should get the Nobel Peace Prize just for that. It's the fact that this guy was a Jets quarterback, drafted by the Jets, and we pulled all the pro out of him. We put all the foot and the ball out of him, and your boy found a way to put him back together, bigger, stronger, faster.
We fixed him and Daniel Jones in the same season.
Oh,
same
Lord
season.
mercy,
And that injury is the only reason the Colts are out of the playoffs.
Yeah, that's true. You know what? That's very true.
Rest
Okay,
in
I'm
peace,
sorry. Say it
Philip
again.
Rivers.
I
Panthers
lost-
Rams.
Panthers Rams. Rams.
I got
Just because
go ahead.
just because. I'm sorry. Three-way tie, 8-9 record, dude.
This is a tough year to pick who is going to win the Super Bowl. But I do have, as of right now, I do have the Rams winning the Super Bowl, so I got to go with Rams
Okay.
over Panthers.
Okay. 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 Okay.
Okay. Hi, twin. Eagles 49ers.
Oh, that's a good one. Eagles have been struggling lately, trying to get it together. 49ers under Mr. Relevant have almost kind of found their way a little bit at the right time. I think the defense is playing the way they should be playing. I'm going with the 49ers over the Eagles.
Yep.
I'm sorry, all my Eagles
No,
buddies out there.
I agree. But that's the thing, though. The Eagles are one of those teams you go in doubting them, they're going to win the Super Bowl because everybody's
Yeah.
going to doubt them. The only people I
Mm-hmm.
see picking the Eagles to win is the Eagles fans. But
Oh, you know.
yeah, but I am going with the 49ers as well. Bears Packers.
You know, after the last Bears Packers game that was just what, 2 weeks ago?
Mm-hmm.
Didn't they just play 2 weeks ago? Am I
Yeah, because
remembering
the
that right?
because the Vikings played the Packers in the final
Yeah.
week.
That game told me that both of those teams are so ugly matched up. Man, dude, that's almost a flip a coin one for me. I hate to say it. You know what? I'm gonna say this. I think the Bears are in a zone right now where they might be able to pull that one out.
Yeah, I got Bears too. I just think the Bears
Yeah.
are. I think the Bears are on fire right now. Don't trust.
Mhm.
There's a lot of players that I just don't trust in
Right,
the
right,
leading teams right now. I don't
right.
trust Love. I don't trust that coaching staff to get them to where they need to be.
I trust Love. I don't trust the coaching staff.
There you go. So yeah,
Yeah.
I guess we only disagreed on one. Guess we only disagreed
Yeah.
on that. What was it? Patriots Chargers. Excuse me,
Yeah, Patriots
Patriots
Chargers.
Chargers.
Patriots Chargers. Yeah.
But yeah, who do you got winning? Who do you got winning it all?
You know what? I'm just gonna say this, and I'm picking with my heart. I'm not gonna lie about it. Buffalo, and I just really feel there's enough pent up frustration now with Buffalo. As hurt as they are, they're not the team that they've usually been at this time of year. But I feel like there's enough there that they can pour it on and give up the rest of the season for the rest of their life to finally bring the Lombardi to upstate New York.
I picked the Rams beating the Patriots. I don't necessarily trust that the Patriots are going to make it that far.
Right.
And now and making that pick, I completely forgot about all of the legal troubles that the Patriots, some of their top players, are
Oh,
going through right now. So I
oh,
made a mistake, I believe, because of that,
oh,
because we don't know what's going to happen with that.
oh! I
So
didn't even think about that. Oh,
so I'm
good
gonna have to
pull.
flip it. I think I'm gonna go Rams over the Bills
I'm making a note right
because
now. I didn't
I
think
don't
about that.
trust the Bills yet.
Yeah.
Once Josh Allen gets over the hump, then I think we might see him pick up another one. If he gets one, I think he's gonna get a couple, but he just needs to get over that hump. So Rams over the Bills.
You know, here's something funny. I'm gonna say it this way. I think we are lucky enough to celebrate the greatness of Josh Allen and also lucky enough to see him at the end of who he is.
Hmm.
I think his body is so beat up, playing in sub-zero weather, what's going on. I'm not going to say he tailed off because I still think he was probably one of the best quarterbacks, or if not the best quarterback in the league this year. Okay, I'm just going to get that out the way. In my opinion, I hear people talking about other cats and the season, the stats, and all the other stuff. The stats are one thing for me. You know me. I got to put eyes on you, right? And if I think of a quarterback, okay, I'm gonna go back to, and I can't. And I, as a player, this guy, I wanted to beat him to death with a trash can every day. Peyton Manning, Leon, your Leon Washington, your Leon Washington with the New York Jets was probably one of the smartest players I ever seen play in my entire life watching pro ball. Because he never got a lot of credit for all the small stuff that he did, and it was always brilliant. Like for instance, when the rule became when the kickoff couldn't go out of bounds, he would, as a Jets kick returner, he would catch the ball with 1 foot out of bounds. Jets get the ball on the 40. And that's a little loophole in the rules that even coaches didn't even know about. Leon Washington knew that. Other thing about Leon Washington as a kick returner and as a runner out of the backfield catching the ball, always super solid and consistent. And I'm bringing up him, even though I'm talking about Peyton Manning, I'm bringing up him for a reason. Peyton Manning, Indianapolis Colts, New York Jets, back and forth game. I forgot the year. Please don't hold me down to the year. So many years with the Jets that has happened. Indianapolis, the Jets defense hold the Colts down to a field goal. They kick off. Leon Washington and Darrelle Revis were actually return guys. Leon Washington catches the ball back right part of the end zone, brings it out. Walk, starts running. Boom, touchdown. Big time play, right? Everybody's going bananas crazy.
Was there more than 0 seconds left on that clock? Because that's a little too much time to give Peyton Manning.
And oh, by the way, I'm not even there yet, but you read my mind. Peyton Manning comes back, leads down there. Darrelle Revis gets stops a pass to Marvin Harrison. Indianapolis Colts come back. They take a field goal. Jets are down by 4. Kickoff comes back. Darrelle Revis takes the kickoff this time to the house. But you see where we're going with this, right? Problem. Minute 48 seconds left on the clock. And I watch Peyton Manning like a psychotic brain surgeon torturing his patient. Increment by increment. And by the way, when of course the Colts got a touchdown with 3 seconds left to go on the clock. And I just watching him do that. That's how I feel about Josh Allen. It might not be that surgical precision the way Peyton Manning was, but he brings so much extra to the game where he can beat you with his arm. The guy gets open, he can extend the play enough. He can run over somebody if he has to. And oh, by the way, as some teams found out the hard way, if you put too much grass in between your boy and the end zone, he might take it 40 yards on you. So that being said, I don't think we have too many more years of that Josh Allen left. But man, even as a Jets fan, I've enjoyed watching him play. I'm really don't like the fact that he's beat up the way he's beat up this year, but I still like watching my dude play. And I'm saying as a Jet, wearing my colors, I'm saying that guy is truly poetry in motion at the quarterback position. It's something to see, and that's why I think if he gets this one this year, I don't know if he'll ever get another one. To your point, you said he might get it. He might at least get another one. I don't think he will because I don't think they'll be able to keep the team together enough to be able to do that. 1, 2, I don't know what kind of shape they're going to be in. They got a lot of hurt cats. They're playing with a lot of second and third teamers right now. There's a lot of stuff going on there with the Bills that are saying, if not now, never.
Yeah. And I could see Josh Allen retiring early too. I could see him doing an Andrew Luck, retiring early.
Yeah,
but
Luck had to.
Yeah. Yep.
I mean, he'd have been. I mean, Luck would have been a quadriplegic.
Yeah, the injuries. Look at Troy Aikman. All those concussions.
Can you? Okay, I'm not going to say this. Are we blowing up the time? Troy Aikman, much like my most favorite quarterback forever, is Roger Staubach. First favorite quarterback, first favorite person. Not just a Naval Academy or tie-in, not just us, just the way he conducted himself on and off the field. And I'm not saying Troy Aikman's an angel. I'm not saying that. But this is what I'm saying though. Troy Aikman as a football icon coming in. What was it? 1-15 was his first season. I think he only won one game. A lot like Peyton Manning, like only won one game his first season. But with the right coach, with Jimmy Johnson, who made that coach like a college team, not a pro team. The Cowboys of those days were a college team. He was the right guy to lead that team. And, oh, by the way, respected by everybody, offensive and defensive side of the ball. He truly, to me, I don't think they could have done what they did with any other quarterback but him. There are a lot of great players on the team. Emmitt Smith, and on and on and on. We keep going on.
They did go.
But
Troy Aikman went 0-11. They did go 1-15. He went 0-11 that
when he
first
went on
year.
11, right? It's perfect, right? So, but the way he carried himself, and even you saw at the end of his career, right? You could tell there was something neurologically happening with him, and to have the wherewithal to say, you know what, I would like to be able to walk without a cane past my professional life in ball and walk away with, and still maintain what he did. And oh, by the way, I'm gonna say this right now, dude looks better than he looked when he played. you know, um, but just I really admire him, especially the mess that team was, because it
Yeah.
was run like an adult college team. But
Yeah. And they can go thank
you know,
the Minnesota Vikings for allowing them to put together that
jeez.
offense with that terrible trade for Walker.
Oh,
I
I'm so
remember I did. I remembered. First off, I do want to say I know I brought it up. Ole Miss went and scored, and
hmm
my Ole Miss is winning 27-24 with 155 left, with Miami
okay.
going down the field. But I remember what I said to stick a pin in it. I saw a crazy stat earlier, and I just
hmm
wanted to bring it up. It was comparing 2016 passing yards to 2025, and
Okay.
it blew my mind the difference. 2016, 13 quarterbacks passed for at least 4,000 yards. 13.
Oh my goodness. And so
And we
this
had
year, two. This
five,
year.
five, five. And the only reason there wasn't 14 quarterbacks that went for 4,000 yards is because Tom Brady was suspended for the first 4 games of that particular season,
That's
I
right.
believe.
That's right. hmm
So all of these rules that have been created to allow the offense
To be
to
more prolific.
to be more prolific are hurting the statistics that these quarterbacks, because all the so what I do want to say, I haven't looked that deep into this, but I did want to take a look at what does pass interference calls look like now compared to 2016, because I
Oh, you
think
don't
that
look like in
probably has a huge
2016. You
I
don't look like 2016. Wait, there was no pass
but
interference on the play. Today, pass interference,
yeah,
illegal hit, targeting,
yeah, yeah
15 yards,
I
plus
think
15
if I
yards.
think looking at the penalties probably would tell us why that is such a
Yeah.
drop, because we talk about all these high scoring offenses and they're scoring all these points, but yards wise, so we're not
Ca-
seeing it. And it's
you-
not fun. That's not fun to
Bob,
watch. A team moving up
Bob,
and down the
Bob,
field because of penalties.
Bob, bruh. Oh, man, oh, you triggered me. Dang, I know we blown the
Next
time.
time
So
on In the
yeah,
Pocket.
yeah. Thank you. You triggered me, man. It's. I'm sorry, but okay. I'm gonna be honest with you though. 2016, I bet your passes were more than 2 yards up the field.
Yeah, I mean, not Tom Brady. Drew Brees went for 5,200 yards.
And
Fifty-two
he
hundred
could even see.
yards.
Well, first of all, okay. So for those who don't know, Drew Brees is like 3'7", and I'm just joking. He's not tall, but he
I
had to
think he's
use
6
arm
foot,
angle.
right? He's 6'1", 6'1".
Okay, he's
Okay,
six.
he's 6'1". Okay,
He's
okay, okay.
six, he's 6 foot in Hobbit land. So I'm sorry, and I love him too, But no, so here we go. He had to use arm angles because you can see him behind. Like when you look at the defensive view, go back and YouTube Saints games on the Drew Brees from the defensive view, like the highlight shows. You see the ball coming out. You don't even see him. So you have no idea where he's looking, because his old line were a bunch of refrigerators that were like 6'7", 6'8", 6'9", and then he's like 4'2", and so but all of a sudden to see the ball being launched into this perfectly good spot. That being said, here's what if for you, if Rex Ryan, when he interviewed for the San Diego job, he said he wanted to keep Drew Brees, and they said that's not an option. He said, then you're not going to hire me as your head coach. Imagine that combination back then. Anyway, that's a whole
Mm.
nother thing. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, but they were putting the ball down the field. Now a pass is basically a glorified screen pass.
Yeah.
How few quarterbacks actually go up the field with their passes? Aaron Aaron Aaron
Rodgers.
yeah, that guy.
Rodgers.
Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson, Mahomes, Stafford, Goff, um, Herbert on occasion. I'm sorry, I'm starting to run into some blanks now in terms of quarterbacks who truly go up the field with their passes more than 10 yards.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, and it's such a, especially with the RPO offenses that are out there. It's such a it's such a short pass,
Yep.
um, a short passing league. And I
Mhm.
am gonna look. I'm trying to. I do want to. I know exactly where I saw it, so I do want to try and pull up real
And
quick
while you're
that.
doing that, I'm gonna say this again. The first quarterback to throw for 4,000 yards who did it in a 14-game season, New York Jets, Joe Namath. 14-game season when pass interference looked like not only were you getting mugged, but there was going to be paperwork and maybe even paternity paperwork filed afterwards. It's just what it was, right? And another thing about Joe Namath, since we're giving him a chance to look this up, is Joe Namath called his own plays.
Well, that's what I just want to point out. I don't know if it was just a joke or not, but um it was the Steelers Ravens game at the end of the second half where apparently Aaron Rodgers called his entire own 2-minute drill up
because
until
because
what
the
was
because the headphone, yeah, the
yeah,
headphone thing went out on him.
I think they called. I think the coach ended up. I think they got it fixed for the final play. At least that's at least what people were saying, and that was a
Yeah,
terrible play call. But they ran the ball. They ran the ball when they didn't have any time to. They wouldn't have time to call a timeout or anything like that.
right,
Regardless,
right,
but Aaron Rodgers just dotted up that Ravens defense when he apparently could call his own defense or his own offense.
yeah.
So I don't know, but yeah, this looking at these um now it looks like averages are up a little bit, but it's when it comes to um per pass. However, again, you look at the 280, the highest per game, 280. 280 yards a game, 278, 264, 262, and then we just drop. We're dropping. You had guys going for 320, 300, couple 300s, 270. Like guys are just they were slinging the ball. But again, I would love to do a breakdown of the what do the penalties look like, because I
Yep.
think that probably is a huge
What the penalties
factor
look
on
like?
stats now.
How far were the throws before the catch?
Yeah.
That's
Yep.
those are two things. That was two. Those are two metadata points that would tell you a lot about what was going on.
Yeah, yep. That's true. Yeah, that would be great to see.
Mm.
Maybe I'll do that between now and the next episode. See if we can pull those stats out. I know
And you know what?
we're not a stats place, but some of those
And really,
just they're so interesting.
but we love talking about why the stats are the way they
Yeah,
are,
yeah,
because that's always much more interesting.
yep,
You can tell me a guy threw for 500 yards. Okay, did he really throw for 500 yards, or
yeah.
did he
Did he
throw for
flip
2 yards and then the guy broke like like oh, New York Jets have the New York Giants pinned on the 2 yard line, and next thing you know, Eli Manning steps back, throws a 1.5 yard pass over to the dude that ended up playing for the Plaxico Burress, who then takes it for 98 yards, and it counts as a 99-yard touchdown pass. I'm sorry. Those moments flash in my head where like I get triggered, kind of like the butt fumble. I get triggered, and I still don't blame Mark Sanchez. I still don't. I still see Vince Wilfork pushing Mawai and what's his name up each other's butt on top of Mark Sanchez, and just I'm sorry. I'm coming back. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I went. I went away, but I'm back.
Well,
But I
we
will.
are gonna go.
But you know what? I will say this though: AFC Championship game, Pittsburgh Steelers versus New York Jets. The second half of that game, guys, go YouTube that. The best player on the field was Mark Sanchez. He almost
Mm,
brought the Jets back. He almost brought the Jets back. He was the best player on the field. And oh, by the way, this is not just me saying it. As a Mark Sanchez fan, regardless of what's going on with him right now, and as a Jets fan, James Harrison said it. James Harrison, who gives nobody a compliment, said we had no answer for that dude in the second half.
Wait. Go ahead.
James Harrison's the kind of guy would full body tackle his mama if she was the last hot dog left.
He just did an interview. I can't say the words that he said, but he pretty much it was a legal tackle because it was fun to flag and fine James Harrison for all of his hits. He's like, if I would have known that I was going to get fined for that, I would have hit him even harder. Long story. That's not word for word. I can't say exactly what he said. But if I knew that that's what was going to happen, I would have hit him even harder. It wasn't, if I would have known that, I would have backed off. No, it's like, I would have finished him, essentially. But, Maestro, we did a terrible job today with the time, and that's my fault because I remembered what I forgot. But do you have any final words for our people?
Hopefully having fun, hopefully going into the NFL playoffs and with the NBA season going on right now, and we're only about 30-something days away from pitchers and catchers with Major League Baseball. Hopefully you're and hockey is going on right now too. I'm really digging me some Rangers games. I'm really hoping that everybody's finding some fun right now, and just want to say prayers up for Minnesota with everybody there. Please stay safe. And just know that you're being thought of. I'm going to leave it right there.
Miami just scored with 18 seconds left. They're up 30-27 over Ole Miss. Anyways, I hope everybody has a great rest of their weekend. Maestro, I appreciate you as always. Enjoy all the fun football coming up this weekend. Have a great rest of your day.